of. Like, there was nothing to hide there.
Is there going to be dancing? Here. No dancing?
No, I danced for the other show. I can't like stack it like that. I got to give it all a little space. You know.
You need to take some ginseng, brother.
I need to take some fucking dance classes. Is what I need.
That too.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the MMA Vivisection with me, Zane Simon, and my co-hosts, Eddie Mercado and Victor Rodriguez. We are back to do a Bellator doubleheader, the rare back-to-back Bellator event, which...
What a dumb idea. I got to interrupt you. This is stupid. Here's why. Okay. Yes. So with all the talent spread between these two cards, you could just have one really decent card.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, this is one awesome card with a whole bunch of shit that nobody cares about packed in to fill out two.
So number one.
Not even two, really. Bellator 203 is 6 fucking fights. And 3 of them are against, like, regional Italian guys who everybody's just like, what? I don't know. Gives a shit.
No, I mean...
The second event is tape delayed. Are you kidding me? Stop it with the tape delay.
It's all tape delayed for me, brother.
Yeah, that's also true. Zane is living the struggle. We get to complain about it twice a quarter. He lives it. But I mean, like, the thing is, obviously, from Bellator's perspective, like, easily, you know, they have the Bellator kickboxing event, which is also happening in Rome. So it's like, since they're going to be doing that, they might as well have some regional Italian talent through their partnership and, you know, save some costs and get a little more people coming in for ticket sales. So it kind of works out in that sense. But having it the day after an event like the one the night before, that really is a bit of a strange one. But different markets, I suppose. I don't know.
But they're still competing with the UFC. Like, that's...
Not directly, because I mean Saturday's event is still going to be an afternoon. Well, at night. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, if it were live in the afternoon, then yes, you
but it's not.
You're absolutely right. No, yeah, they are. Wow, that's really fucking lame.
Yeah,
it's annoying, is what it is.
I will say though, we should note, even though we're not going to really actually talk about it, that the Bellator kickboxing card with Giorgio Petrosian versus Chingiz Alazov.
Yes.
Like, that's a hot fucking fight.
Yes.
Kickboxing to put on.
Yeah, that's definitely worth not just the price of admission, but, you know, a couple of beers too. So yeah, shame that it's going to be buried, and you know they still isn't that on a week tape delay? How does that work? Are they still doing that?
I think so, probably.
Yeah, you got such a great fight, and no one gets to see it for a week. Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
I wonder if someone wrote something about that, complaining about the very same fucking thing. And might have maybe gotten some nasty DMs over it, but yeah, sure.
Or dick pics, unsolicited dick pics.
I'm not that handsome, no. I got a pretty mouth, but no.
Let's jump in on this Bellator 202 card before we get too deep into the kind of private messages Vic is getting and sending and receiving. Most of this undercard is stuff that I don't care about. There's not a whole lot on this undercard, but unusually for a Bellator card, there are the two final prelim fights are fights that I want to talk about real quick. Most notably, Gerald Harris versus Yaroslav Amosov, welterweight bout on the prelims, and this holds a near and dear place in my heart, especially because I am the man responsible solely for Yaroslav Amosov's nickname.
Are you?
Yeah.
Dynamo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit. Damn
that's
right.
Awesome. That's pretty dope. That's respect.
How? I gotta ask.
He was part of the scouting report. I really liked his game a lot, and we did that whole thing. And like his manager reached out to me and we're like, "He needs a nickname. Can you help us out?" And it's like, "Fuck yeah, I can."
Damn
you picked a great one too. That's actually pretty balls, man. That's dope. It's better than all the pit bulls and shit that we got in the sport.
All right, so. Eddie, any thoughts on this Harris Amosov fight?
So I picked Harold over Lovato. Who do you fight? No, who did you fight in this last fight?
Lovato Jr.
Was it Lovato Jr.? I picked Harris, not knowing that he had was coming back from a really bad Achilles injury. That completely flew under my radar. Had I known that, I wouldn't have sided with him. But he is damn good, and I just don't know. He's a big question mark for me moving forward. Knowing what I know about his injury now, it's hard for me to side with that. So I'm going to pick Amosov just on that alone.
Purely based off the injury. All right, Vic.
Yeah, my motivation is different. I'm still going to go with Emisov, but my situation is looking at Harris. I mean, he is still a threat. He is still a great athlete, and injury notwithstanding, he's a very tough guy to beat. Problem is that Emisov's not only got youth, he's also got some really serious momentum. Some of his opposition early on a bit shaky, but he's one of those guys whose talent has increased or rather has improved since. And he's really becoming a bona fide fighter on his own. So this is very much an obvious test for the younger guy, and see if he gets past the stout veteran here. But yeah, I'm going to go with Emisov, man. This dude, he's pretty quick. He's got great hand speed sometimes, and
he's a killer.
He's going to be able to. I think he's going to be able to figure out the American wrestler boxer archetype pretty easily, and start doing some work here. Now, whether he finishes him or not, I don't know, but he'll win.
Should also be noted, too, that there are like 3 or 4 at least fights not on Emisov's record because they're technically full contact combat Sambo bouts.
Right.
Which means they just look exactly like an MMA bout, but it's under very slightly modified rules, so they don't count as record. And a couple of them against some really good regional veterans. So it's not as padded as it looks, even though it is still padded.
Right.
He's definitely a tech crep attraction can crusher for a while. But yeah, I mean, I got to be partial and pick him just because he's a world champion sambo fighter athlete,
which counts for a lot. It actually means something.
Yeah, and he's got a fun, funky game, very aggressive, wild kind of striking style, and then a fun, like, crafty wrestling and grappling game behind it. So I'm all for seeing what he looks like in his debut, and I'm glad he's bumping up a step onto a bigger stage, and kind of hope he doesn't end up being like, oh, God, who's that guy that trains with Fedor a bunch?
Kirill Madovsky?
Not Kirill, but the other one that they picked up that
Tokov? Anatoly
Anatoly Tokov. I'm hoping like he doesn't end up like Tokov buried on random Bellator prelims for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think if he stunts on Gerald Harris, he'll definitely get a main card slot next time.
I hope so, for his own well-being. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if there's any odds on that fight. Let me see.
Do we have odds for any of the weekends?
We got Bellator 202 odds, actually. So, yeah, there are odds for this.
Okay.
We don't have odds for 203, it looks like, at the moment. 202, Emisov opened at minus 265, jumped up to minus 160, and has evened out at minus 182. This is just in the last day. So
those are definitely wider than they should be.
Minus 265, currently minus 182. Yeah, he's done a lot of can crushing. Harris opened at plus 185 and is currently at plus 148.
Holy shit, dude. I have never seen fucking this many odds for a Bellator prelim. What is going on here?
I know. Usually we have to beg for these things. They even have Bellator 203 odds. They only have it for the main event, but that's fine. That's all that really matters on that card.
This is insane, dude.
Yeah. All right. After that, we got Emily Ducote versus Veda Arteaga. And Vic, who are you taking?
I like this fight because of the potential for violence. You know, Arteaga very much somewhat infamously had that fight against Yankova, who, you know, and I think we might have mentioned this before. It seemed pretty clear that they were looking for Yankova to get a good win, but Veda did not get that fucking message and made it as hard as possible, ending with a split decision loss. But ever since then, she got the TKO win over Brooke Mayo and a rough loss against Bruna Ellen. Again, another split decision that could very easily go either way. Yeah, she likes to swarm, man. There's not much that's pretty about her game. Her takedowns are a little funky. Her punches are wide and looping. You know, if she's shooting from the hip, it's a little, you know, you're probably going to see it coming. But she hits pretty hard, and she's really, really good at suffocating her opponents. So it's going to be a bit of a test for Ducote, who's already fought for the title, is really good jiu-jitsu, is pretty sharp striking, even if she is a bit tentative and a little I guess she's a little more content to lead with some of the grappling exchanges. She definitely should be the favorite here because of having a bit of a size advantage and being the better athlete overall and a better technician. But I really do think that Veda's going to come out, being the fire plug that she is, and make this as hard as possible for Dakota to actually get that win. So I'm seeing a decision win here by Dakota.
All right, Eddie.
I feel like I've seen this fight before, but I definitely haven't. It's like one of those women's flyweight Bellator bouts where it's kind of incestuous, and you already have people so young in the career doing rematches.
Like they only have 6 of these women. How could they not have faced each other?
Yeah, it's crazy. But I got a cosign on most of what Vic said. This is going to be a tornado, like nonstop from bell to bell. It's just going to be a crazy scramble. Both women can hit pretty hard. They have nice right hands. I got to edge Ducote here. I think she's just a better grappler, and she has better experience against Ilima McFarland. I'll just say, like, that's her experience, and that kind of counts for something here. Mm-hmm. So I think in with super, super young green careers, I mean, I kind of have to – I'm grasping at straws to find something to give the other the edge. It's pretty competitive, but I'm just going to lean on Ducote because of that experience, and because when she has won, she's won decisively, and Vita can kind of make it debatable no matter what. Even that fight against Brooke Mayer, like, that was a barn burner. So I've never seen Artiga actually take over and dominate a complete fight. So I can't pick her here. I'm going to go to Ducote, who's coming off back-to-back losses. So this is almost must-win territory for her. So I think she's going to be really dangerous here.
All right. Well, odds makers must have seen something they really loved about Ducote, because they opened her at minus 515.
Holy shit!
Yeah. She's currently up at minus 259. So those have been closing rapidly.
Wow.
And
coming late.
Artiaga opened at plus 345 and has since dropped down to plus 191.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, that brings us to the first first bout on the main card, heavyweight bout, Valentin Moldavsky versus Ernest James, and
so Vita Arteaga versus Emily Ducote should be in the place of this fight. This fight does not belong on the main card, and the only reason it is because they're heavyweights. I am almost positive about that. So I'm bitter that this fight's even happening. I mean, you got a guy like it's bullshit. Like, why is this on the main card? I need a real answer for that. Like, is someone related to somebody?
Yeah, Moldavsky trains with Fedor.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, other guys train with Fedor too, and they haven't gotten anything close to. They haven't even gotten a Bellator main card slot. It's kind of weird.
They seem to see something pretty big with him. I think they're like seeing him as like the guy who could probably break from the pack.
I guess, but. He's fighting a 1-0 guy, and
all right,
fuck this, dude. I don't want to see this on a main card. I don't like let it. If it ends early on the prelims, cool. Then play it on some free time on the main card. But like, don't force feed me this bullshit and tell me this is a main card. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not picking anyone either.
Not picking anyone.
Nope.
Okay.
Doesn't deserve a pick.
Vic, you picking against Moldavsky for any reason?
I am very hyped for this fight, believe it or not, because Ernest James trains out of the Dethrone Fight Camp up in Fresno with Koscheck and
the mark that they're marketing towards.
It is a market of one, yes, and it's crowded in this motherfucker. Let me tell you something. This dude, I mean, he's like a top level wrestler who is making his he's getting his feet wet in MMA. Still very raw. He's mostly dependent on his wrestling. I'm really excited to see what he can do. I just think it's a little early to put him in there against, well, not a little. I think it's very early to put him in there against a guy like Moldavsky who can throw sledgehammers. I don't like it, but I mean, it's cool to see a possible future prospect taking on a guy who looks like he's going to be moving up in the ranks and could eventually be their champion. So definitely got to go with Moldavsky here, but don't be surprised if James gives him some fits, especially with him being a little more athletic than you might see him at first glance. He's actually a lot more spry than he looks. So just be wary of that.
I would rather see Gerald Harris and Amasov instead of that fight on the main card. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with the main card placement thing as far as that's concerned, but I mean, I'm not upset. as far as like the match.
I'm bitter, Vic.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Harris, or Ernest James rather, just for his bona fides, he's Josh Koscheck seems to have established something with that whole dethrone Fresno and Edinburgh connection, because James is an Edinburgh College wrestler who's coming to MMA straight through that dethroned Fresno camp. So there you go. Working right alongside the guy who's next up and in a very similar position, Chris Honeycutt, facing Leo Lede, also out of the dethroned base camp Fresno, also out of Edinburgh. And Leo Lede and Vic, who you got in this fight?
Can I trust Honeycutt? I don't know. That's the thing. That's kind of where I'm stuck at right now. Like, I'm not saying that. I mean, he's shown a tremendous amount of athleticism. He's fought some pretty good guys like Mikel Parlo and I mean, the bones of Kevin Casey, I guess, the deflated kidneys of him. He did have that rough loss to Paul Bradley after the no contest. Like, I don't really know if that has rattled him. I don't know if that's shaken his confidence in any way. I mean, the dude can take a punch, but it's not like he can't get knocked out, because he has lost by stoppage due to strikes. And then again, I don't know that Leyte has that capacity to really put that one on his chin and really make him pay for his defensive lapses. When it comes to the submission game, obviously I got to give that advantage to Leyte, but man, I mean, like, it seems very likely that there could be an upset here, but the safe pick is probably going to be Honeycutt, and it's probably going to be by decision. It's going to be him keeping top position and making sure that he doesn't get caught up in something stupid. And when he's on his feet, be careful enough to outpoint him and, not really worry too much about counters or head movement.
All right, Eddie, who are you picking?
I am definitely going to have to pick Honeycutt here. He's not trustworthy, like Vic is saying, for sure. He's like, all the pieces of his game just do not fit well together like it did for Koscheck when Koscheck was coming in. I mean, it's just not the same. So Leyte, for his Bellator debut, they gave him Phil fucking Davis? Are you kidding me?
They did.
That's cruel. Like, that's not okay.
A 40-year-old coming in for his Bellator debut after a few years of fighting on the regionals, Phil Davis.
That's tough. Like, I'm surprised that even got sanctioned, to be quite honest.
Welcome to the big leagues, motherfucker.
Yeah, no shit. Baptism by fire. And so this is going to be like a poor man's version of that bout. Because you got someone who's got the wrestling chops, but like, obviously the translation to MMA wrestling isn't the same as it was for Phil Davis. He's not as good of a kickboxer as kickboxing Phil Davis. So Leyte has a much better chance of winning this fight. I just have never seen anything from Leyte to let me know that he can actually get through this. So big question mark there for him. I can't put stock into him. I've seen Honeycutt. Yeah, you mentioned Bradley knocked him out. He rallied back, 4 straight wins, moved up in weight, actually went as high as 195 for one of his fights. So I think he's finally gotten it out of his system. That 178 for me, solidify at middleweight. Tough outing against Lovato Jr., who's actually pretty fucking good. So I'm not going to fault him so much for that. I just feel like Honeycutt is just – I'm worried he'll never get out of that prospect. He's going to go like from prospect to journeyman, like in the blink of an eye.
The old Eric Silva.
Yeah, well, maybe not that bad. Much more forgettable, though. Much more for at least Eric Silva. He did have some moments in the spotlight. Honeycutt, I don't think we'll get any of those. Whether or not he gets past Leyte here, I'm going to pick him hesitantly, and I'm going to pick him by decision. But you know what, man? I'm honestly rooting for Leyte here. Like,
yeah.
I just think I'm one of those guys.
Old man, pull one over on this.
Yeah, it's like Dan Kelly, like same kind of.
Yeah.
All right. We forgot the odds for James versus Moldavsky, so I'll read those real quick.
This ought to be fucking great.
Valentin Moldavsky opened at -530. He's currently at -515.
Wow.
James opened at +350. He's currently at +384.
Well, if you don't like money, You might want to take a look at this line here.
Yeah, I guess.
Chris Honeycutt opened at minus 285. He's currently at minus 169. Lete opened at plus 205. He's currently at plus 141.
Where they're at right now, I think is legitimate considering how untrustworthy Honeycutt is. You know, I don't think I've ever seen Honeycutt just go out and whack somebody or just really take over and dominate anyone. Like his Matt Secor fight, he was pretty dominant throughout, but it was still a grind. It wasn't easy for him. So I really need to see Honeycutt just blast through someone for me to get excited about him. And until then, I'm just like, man.
All right, that brings us to our co-main event: Eduardo Dantas versus Michael McDonald. And Vic, what are your thoughts on this?
That's a rough one, man. I mean, McDonald is just so damn good. He made his Bellator debut. He looked like he shook off a lot of the pressure that he was experiencing while he was with the UFC. And the thing that really, even though it was obviously a warm-up fight, it wasn't the kind of like top-level opponent that he was used to facing. I mean, he looked good. You know, he didn't really take much damage, and he's going to be taking on a guy who doesn't have much range, very scrambly, a very scrappy submission guy. But if you get careless and you let him get the range that he wants, he's going to be able to pick at you and really start to add up damage. But again, McDonald's range and his command of it is really considerable here, and I don't really know that Dantas is going to be prepared for that. So I really don't know that he's fought someone who's that's sort of strong but wiry dude like McDonald, and B, someone who's got jiu-jitsu that's way better than it might look for. Like, there's just when it comes to the adjustments that he makes and when he latches onto somebody's neck, it's not very common. Like there's just ways as far as his placement, the way he distributes his weight. Like, I really feel that Dantas, if he starts getting a little too comfortable ceding any bit of ground or, thinking that he's going to be able to submit McDonald, he's going to run into some pretty terrible surprises there. And I don't know. I don't really like that. But mostly I think it's going to be more of McDonald using a lot of his range, using a lot of his pressure, standing, backing him up against the cage, breaking him down, and then eventually at some point when the fight gets to the ground, he's just going to control from top and work his way to a decision as well.
All right. Eddie, who are you picking?
First of all, this Dantas versus McDonald is the most elite and legit fight of this doubleheader. Period. Hands down. Yeah. This is as top shelf as it gets that Bellator can offer over this weekend. So McDonald, he was ranked number 5 heading into his last fight against Lineker in the UFC. And by the way, Mayday is a badass nickname. Like, that's pretty freaking sweet. Like, I'm proud of whoever gave it to him for that one. But man, this is a very interesting fight. Both of these guys are known for giving up the takedown. Like, both of them just do it. And both guys like to counter strike. And I'd like to say that Dantas is more likely to pump his jab and lead the dance with his superior footwork than McDonald. But I think McDonald is more likely to swing wildly in an exchange and get the knockout. So that's very interesting and compelling for me. You have to be elite to beat McDonald, and Dantas is very elite. But I don't know if he's quite venomous enough on the feet to hurt McDonald in a substantial way. And I doubt he's going to try to take him down. So, like, if you look at the recent fights of Dantas, you're going to find a lot of grapplers on that list, like a lot. So this is actually one of the better strikers, better punchers that Dantas has faced in a long time. And McDonald is a legit submission threat on the ground. Like, he is a very opportunistic submission artist. Like, his wrestling really isn't there, but when he gets the chance to grab a hold of something, like Vic was saying, he's going to take it.
Yeah, Michael McDonald might actually be the best striker that Eduardo Dantas has ever faced.
Leandro Issa is kind of right there. But yeah, he's definitely the best puncher, I would say, for sure.
Yeah.
The heaviest puncher. Yeah. And I mean, we've seen
Dantas get waxed. Like, Tyson Nam?
And look what happened there, though.
But Tyson Nam, the thing with Nam is, like, he's really got to get comfortable to throw that kind of bomb. Yeah. So, I don't know.
So this is like, okay, so Dantas' his recent career has been, I need to stop the takedown and get my strikes going. And what if his strikes aren't there? What is he going to do now? Is he going to force a takedown? I mean, we've seen him get takedowns, but it's really not his bread and butter. So for the sake of the division, I hope McDonald wins this. He's got the heavier hands. He's got the opportunistic submissions. I'm actually going to take McDonald inside the distance. I think he gets the finish. I don't know how, but I see him getting it done early here.
Yeah, my concerns for McDonald are always that he tends to give up bad positions with the trust that he can just fight his way out of them.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the ground or whether it's in like striking exchanges standing or things like that, he's always sort of like going off the confidence, like, oh, no matter what this is, I'll get through it. And, you know, that's...
Sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't.
Yeah, sometimes you get choked out by Uriah Faber and Renan Barão or knocked out by John Lineker, and sometimes you...
choke out Kanahara.
Yeah, and Brad Pickett.
Yeah.
Like, there's always...
You know
like,
what,
McDonald is almost... He's either, like, landing something to just absolutely knock somebody out in the, you know, immediately, or he's battling back from extreme adversity to get that win that you know, it looked like he wasn't going to get.
And you know what? I think the biggest concern for me with McDonald is his durability.
Yeah.
Like, he's plagued with injuries.
Well,
and even in his Bellator debut, afterwards on the microphone, he says, oh, I broke my hand in the second round. It's like, damn, dude, like you just got back and you're already injured again.
Yeah. I mean, these are two incredibly seasoned guys for being both under 30.
Yeah,
like Dantas is only 20. Dantas is 29. McDonald is 27, and both of them started in 2007. They're both 11 years into a pro fighting career.
Jesus fuck! I mean, they are finished products at this point.
Yeah, they are absolutely finished fighters, and they're gonna be. You know, it would be a pretty big surprise if either of them were fighting at an elite level in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially at this weight class.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd lean Dantas for this just because I think that McDonald, the durability as well as his tendency to just put himself in bad positions feels just a little too forgiving for Dantas, who tends to be incredibly, he's beatable by decision if you can, really kind of hold him down and work him over that way, or he's been knocked out once. But otherwise, he tends to win tough decisions. McDonald he won a decision last time against some guy that nobody remembers, but his last decision win was a split over Chris Carriasso in 2011. He's a much better finisher, but if he doesn't, it's finish or be finished, basically.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is Dantas, let's say McDonald does concede some shitty positions. It's not like Dantas has been finishing anyone lately.
No.
Especially on the ground.
I guess my feeling is that if one of these two is likely to be able to win a decision, it's Dantas.
But if it's kill or be killed,
if it's kill or be killed, it's McDonald. So
I'm with that.
All right, odds on that fight. Dantas is the favorite, opened at -110, currently out at -158.
They're getting wide. These should be
the underdog, opened at -130, so he opened as a favorite, currently at +131.
This should be even, dead even.
Yeah. All right, well, now let's get on to our main event for this card. Julia Budd versus Talita Nogueira. And Eddie, what are your thoughts?
I got Julia Budd all day. Sure, Talita could come out and sub her, but she's so flaky, I honestly doubt that she'll even make weight for the fight.
Yeah.
She's bailed on so many consecutive fights, and, I don't trust her to show up. How many times did she try to make her Bellator debut over the course of how many years? I can't put any stock that she's going to show up on weight and actually make it to the fight. So I'm going to pick Bud if the fight even happens, and I'll take her by a boring decision.
Yeah, Talita Nogueira, she's had one fight in Bellator now last year, but her Bellator debut has been in the works since 2015.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Yeah,
she screwed over the chance for me to watch Marlis Kunin fight live. So I'm a little bitter about that also. So
that is true. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah.
All right. Vic, who you taking?
Yeah, man, I got Bud, man. She's faced better competition. She's weathered these storms. She's dealt with like really dangerous jiu-jitsu people. Not on the level of Nogueira, but still like, at a point, the maturity that someone has in their career. I don't see that Nogueira has anything in her pocket that Bud hasn't seen. So you kind of got to go with the veteran, man.
All right, yeah. Odds on that one. Julia Budd opened at -400 and has since moved up to -210. I'm kind of surprised at that, honestly. Nogueira opened at +280 and has dropped to +175.
I just want to mention something right quick before we move on to the next card. There's 2 fights here on the prelims. Tyler Ingram versus Trevino. That could be fun, Trevino being an AKA guy. And also John Hill and Rudy Shafroth, 2 very violent heavyweights. Might be good. It might not be the typical, LOL Bellator heavyweight fight. So you might want to check out the prelims from the start.
The Bellator Human Sacrifice Hour is always entertaining. Say what you will about the level of competition.
Speaking of Human Sacrifice Hour, Bellator 203.
Yeah, let's jump over to this next Bellator card from Rome, Italy on Saturday. Be tape delayed for everybody, so nobody's going to be seeing it live. Nobody gives a shit about these prelim fights. They look totally unnotable. There's a kickboxing card we mentioned with Petrosian on it.
Gabriel Varga is also on that, who's a former Glory featherweight kickboxer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot.
It's a good kickboxing card, honestly.
Yeah.
A legit quality kickboxing card that we're not going to see anytime in real time, which makes no sense at all.
Yeah, maybe the whole Dazin, whatever the fuck, maybe that might do something, but I doubt it.
So in the meantime, Andrei Korshkov, to open up the main card, is going to fight some dude. Eddie, what do you feel? What are your thoughts here?
Korshkov is the fucking man, dude. Like, he's just the man. He's only lost to Funky Ben Askren and Douglas Lima. And everyone else he pretty much puts stamp on. So I got no reason to pick against him. He's super elite. He should be working his way back to a title shot anytime soon. And man, this is going to be gruesome.
Yeah. All right, Vic, you picking Bakasevich?
Let me get the fuck out of here. I don't pick no fucking Bakasevich. No, man. Look, I think that like this isn't going to be as easy for Koreshkov because the dude can crack, but he's been fighting guys that really aren't anywhere near the level of like even the worst. Like you pick the worst guy that Koreshkov has beat. And he's probably better than at least 60% of the guys that this other dude's fought. So no, Koreshkov.
Russia, and Poland aside, the Eastern European MMA scene is no place to be like grabbing talent.
It's a mess. It's such a random. You know what I mean? It's the lack of organization and infrastructure and no real sense of development that just leads to the situation that they're in now. And it sucks because you could get some really good guys, but they probably flame out 5 fights in and they don't really reach their potential. So, or you get a guy like this who, I mean, I don't know, maybe he'll do better things, but not on this card.
No,
I think I'm starting to come around to the whole take your really top talent and then let them go crush a tomato can real quick overseas just for sport. Like, give me the showcase. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as long as you buttress it with like you put him back in big fights. That's the Spike Force model back. Even when it was Strike Force, that was the always the Coker idea is like, okay, we got Nick Diaz, we're gonna have him fight. Fucking oh, damn it, Paul Daly. And then we're going to have him fight Scott Smith. And, like, they're going to be fun-ass fights, but they're going to be, like, you put the really hard fights in with some fights that are just, like, not so hard,
But that's so much fun sometimes, though.
Yeah.
But like it could backfire, like we saw when they brought Goiti Yamauchi to Israel, and he got dropped in that first round and had to work through some serious adversity to ultimately find a submission. But they gotta kind of have to be a little bit careful because some guys will rise to the occasion.
Well, yeah,
that's the game though.
Side of the model is that those guys you bring in to lose in these fights, they can win them, and then you still don't want them, and then everybody's like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah, Zach Freeman.
Exactly.
Like, it was a shame because he can be very fun, but you know,
yeah,
what are you
but
do?
Bellator doesn't want Zach Freeman. They didn't bring Zach Freeman in to win.
No.
All right. Odds on that, we don't have any. I think we only have the one fight worth the odds.
There should not be odds for that fight anyway.
Korshkov minus 1,000, whatever.
No, like minus 10,000, like boxing odds here, like minus 10.
All right,
odds hater, Jesus.
Co-main event. Alessio Sakara, Jamie Sloan, Vic. Well, I mean, there are a lot of reasons to pick Sakara in any fight. So, to pick Jamie Sloan in this one.
Yeah, he can crack, and Alessio can't take too many hits. So I'm actually going to go with the underdog. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jamie Sloan because mostly I'm going to say maybe 90% of it being the fact that I just don't trust Sakara's ability to take a punch. He's going to have to rush in and connect first. And Sloan's not a moron. Like, I mean, he's not as experienced. He hasn't fought the same level of talent. He's not. I mean, he's not a guy like
thing I've ever heard you say.
Well, listen, he's not going to leave his chin out, and like he knows, everybody knows what Sakara's coming in here to do. He's not going to come in here and roll for a knee bar or some shit like that, right? So we know what the case is, and I mean, Sloan knows that as well. He's going to have to get super careless and do a few things wrong in order to get cracked, and I just don't see him doing that. So for all of Sakara's talent, for his abilities as a striker, I just don't see it happening. I think he's going to get slapped by the Englishman.
All right. Eddie, you willing to pick a dude who got outworked by the famous Czech wrestling champion, Carlos Vemola?
Hey. Vemola's on the upswing right now, man. He's fought like 4 times this year alone. He's been killing it.
Calm down, Vic.
I mean it. I'm serious. I've done previews for like all of his cards.
He is on a 5-fight win streak. It's true.
Yeah. I'm not fucking around.
Am I willing to pick him? Well, that all depends what the patented so you at home who watches our show and you've seen this before, you know when I give no fucks about a fight, I give no fucks about a fight. So I'm bringing in my patented Mohegan Sun coin and I'm going to flip it. And if it's eagle side, I will go with Alessio. And if it's feather side, I will go with Sloan. So here we go.
I fucking love you so much.
Eagle side, I'm picking Sakara.
Jesus Christ.
Italia for the win.
All right. Patricio Pitbull, Daniel Weichel, main event. Eddie, give some real thoughts.
Gets me every time with that fucking coin. Every time he gets me. I love it. This is great.
Okay, so this is super fucking legit. Probably the second most legitimate fight of the weekend for Bellator. Luckily, we've seen this fight before. And so we know that Weichel is capable of hurting Pitbull and having him on the ropes and outstriking him. However, second round came, Weichel came out too aggressive and got slept with one of the most powerful left hooks you'll ever see from a 145-pound man. So I don't see this fight going any different than the first round. Like, I think all Weichel needs to do to win this is do exactly what he did, except not come out silly, overconfident and respect the power of Pitbull no matter what. I think he can get the job done here. Like, I've seen this. I know how this goes down. Like, it's what, 3 years ago? 3 years since the first fight happened? But
yeah, 3 years, almost. Yeah, so it's just over. Yeah.
But like, if you look at who Pitbull's fought since then, like Daniel Strauss, super inconsistent. Henry Corrales, I love him, cool cat, but not elite yet. Bendo at the back end of his career, you get no props for that. Even though he was winning that fight up until that weird little leg break or whatever. And then again, the shell of Daniel Strauss after coming back from his broken hand. So he really, I mean, those aren't exactly like, holy shit, Pitbull's like really firing on all cylinders right now. Like, Pitbull's beatable is what I'm saying. And I think Weichel, it's his moment to get it done. So I'm picking Daniel Weichel here, and I think he's going to knock out Pitbull Freire. So. All
right. Eddie or Vic?
We're not the same person, despite what you and our fans think.
Yeah, which is funny because it's true. That's happened quite a few times. No, man, I like my heart's with Weichel in a weird way. I just kind of feel like Pitbull's probably on a further downward decline, but somehow that doesn't mean that or rather he's further ahead in his decline, but it's not low enough. I don't know. I'm not sure I can adequately explain
Well,
that.
real quick, while you're figuring out what you're going to say, if you look at who Weichel has fought in his last 4 fights, you got Georgia Carey Kanye, super dangerous. Emmanuel Sanchez on fire on his way to a title shot. Brian Moore will skip that. And then John Teixeira, who's actually very, very tough.
He's very legit. Very legit, Teixeira.
So I think he's had stiffer competition despite that Pitbull's actually fought bigger names. I feel those are bigger names who are way past their prime.
No, I agree. Yeah, they are bigger names that have faded somewhat, and it's like Weichel still kind of got, I'm not saying that he's still on the upswing here, but it's like his decline is not anywhere near as pronounced as what I'm seeing from Pitbull. From either one of the Pitbull brothers, really. I do think it's possible that he might be able to, clock Frere and latch onto a submission. And I don't know why. I don't really know what really, all my rational instincts are telling me, no, Pitbull should be able to keep the distance and work with leg kicks and, shuck off takedowns and defend submissions and get out of bad spots. But I don't know, man. Weichel, I really feel like he just might take it, man. He's crafty enough with his submission game. He's patient when when he's patient, he's very technical and composed and able to get everything right, just be able to move at the right moment, time his counters correctly. And I don't know. So you know what, as much as it doesn't make that much sense, I'm going to go with Weichel on this one, even though I'm most likely going to be wrong, but I have no shame.
I don't think so, man. We've seen Weichel put the hands on Pitbull and nearly finish him. All he has to do is not be overly aggressive and show a little bit more respect, and I think he gets the finish, man. I really do.
I think he's kind of aware of that as well, and he might be thinking the same thing.
That was not a lucky punch that Pitbull threw that knocked out Weichel.
Right.
But that was very, very, very opportunistic, and I don't think that same sort of opportunity is going to be there in this fight.
Hold on, but you picked Pitbull. Right. You're making my case for me. So
I picked Weichel, bro. What are you talking about?
You did? Oh, okay. Never mind.
I picked Weichel by knockout.
Oh, shit. I really do need a nap. Wow. Never mind.
All right. Well, Pitbull is a pretty reasonably sized favorite. Opened at -350, is currently at -248.
Excuse me, I need to go visit a website real quick.
Weichel opened at +250, is currently at +200.
I'm going to go visit a website too, but it's not what you're thinking.
God damn it, Pig.
Catch me on plumperpass.com, killing it.
Oh,
it was good.
Did they pay you to say that?
Nah, they did.
All right.
I'll pay them.
Stop this because it's going to get out of control and way faster.
It's going to get out of hand.
It's endorsed by Rumble Johnson.
It's going to get out of hand.
I wish I were kidding.
No, okay. You can find me on Twitter at Simon. Find Eddie on Twitter at the Eddie Renato, and in the gambling den of your choice. Find Vic on Twitter at Vic M. Rodriguez, and in the more unsightly parts of the internet where he will be. You can find him on Pornhub anytime in the comment section.
Just to be official, Weichel is seriously a live dog in that fight and worth consideration at those odds, considering how well he did in the first.
All right. And you can follow all 3 of us over at bloodyelbow.com day in, day out. Give this video a thumbs up down there. Like it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, MMAnation.com, DOTCOM. That's where you get all the latest shows, videos, interviews, all that good stuff. We will be back. Eddie and I will be back for the 6th round for this week's UFC card in Boise. And then I'll be back for the Vivisection for UFC Hamburg next week.
The next Bellator won't be until August 17th.
Next Bellator won't be until August 17th, so we won't be back for that until then. I think there's a Invicta card coming up, though, so we might do something for that. And
a PFL on the 19th.
All right.
Rise is coming up soon,
too. We've been meaning to do those. Schedule just doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for showing up, and we will see you soon.
Adios.
Boop.